don't give the enemy the power that he doesn't have by saying that every time there's a disruption in your life, it's the devil. Divine disruptions is actually God's way of breaking the flow to rebuild the form. Not every interruption that you experience is actually an attack. Some of them are just divine disruptions. Divine disruptions feel like chaos, but they are actually God's construction in disguise. What you are calling an interruption in your destiny is actually what the heavens need to birth the new season over the earth. If your flow is breaking, it's probably because your form is evolving. Don't mock your times of disruption. Actually embrace them and see them as a signal to rebuild. But of course, nobody likes being disrupted. Nobody likes, me having a plan, putting your plan in place and it doesn't go the way you want. But the thing is, just because there's a disruption doesn't mean God is not at work. As a matter of fact, what I say to people is that divine disruptions is actually God's way of breaking the flow to rebuild the form. Because there's a form you're supposed to have if you're going to fulfill destiny. And many times the only way that God rebuilds the form so that it's fit for purpose is that he breaks the flow. Not every interruption that you experience is actually an attack. Some of them are just divine disruptions. Because many times when things don't go the way we want, we're like, Satan's attacking me or this is happening. But sometimes it's not Satan, The truth is, heaven isn't trying to destroy your life. Many times, heaven is just, reconfiguring your next dimension, So we have to be careful how we define divine disruptions. We have to be careful what we call the times when things don't go the way we want, what we call it. Don't give the enemy the power that he doesn't have by saying that every time there's a disruption in your life, it's the devil. It's not always the devil. It's just heaven's way of rebuilding you, remaking you so that you're fit for purpose. I mean, think about it. There are two guys in scripture with the same name who were divinely disrupted. Saul, number one. He's going to look for his father's donkeys, and there's a divine disruption that happens. He goes to Samuel's house, and instead he's ordained to be the next king of Israel. That's a major disruption. 1 minute you think you are a shepherd in trouble, and the next minute you are a king over a nation. That was God's way of introducing him to the next dimension of himself. The same thing the other Saul. He's making his way to Damascus, but it took a divine disruption for Saul to be introduced to Paul. And that's how God works. He would come in the middle of the things that you have ordered, and through the disorder of heaven, you come into the order in which you are able to carry inheritance. So divine disruptions feel like chaos, but they are actually God's construction in disguise. Many times, when we lose things, we are like, oh, Satan did it, but it's actually God reordering. When Jesus disrupted the life of Peter and he said to me, follow me, a fisherman's routine was greatly disrupted, with just one instruction, follow me. And that instruction changed, the heavens and the earth forever. What you are calling an interruption in your destiny is actually what the heavens need to birth the new season over the earth. So don't mock disruptions. Don't mock sudden changes. If your flow is breaking, it's probably because your form is evolving. And that's what we do. When our flow breaks, we adapt. That adaptation is actually the way in which God rebuilds us. So you can't walk into destiny with systems that are built for comfort, systems that are built for routine, systems that are built for culture. You don't enter destiny like that. So you must make room in all your systems for disruption. If it happens, what am I going to do? How are we going to pivot? I mean, think about it even in business. Market disruptions is what builds future empires, Divine disruptions build future destinies. That's the way it works. So without disruption, you never get to know what a location, what an organization, what a generation is capable of. And if you think about Isaiah 58 verse 10, it says, see, I have refined you through and through. I refined you, and though not as silver, I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. So many times we're tested in the furnace of affliction. And the reason why we are disrupted with pain, disrupted with grief, disrupted with shame is because there's a shinier, better, stronger version of us that needs to come forth if we're going to possess destiny. So don't mock your times of disruption. Actually embrace them and see them as a signal to rebuild and to, just gather yourself for a greater future. So in case you are listening to me, do you feel like you're being disrupted? Don't run away. Don't complain. Just reawaken to purpose. I'm inviting you to join me to decode what heaven is really doing in your life. And I know that the seasons that are coming are going to be greater than the ones you've experienced before. So I'll see you in class. God bless you.